If someone wants to jump into creating a podcast, how can they jump?
So first it would be jump, right? Like what it does for me is so much more important than what it may not do for somebody else.
But when you create a community and we start creating that environment around the judgmental part of it, I don't really care anymore.
The few people, right? The quality and not the quantity. The 5 or 10 people that are showing me love, like, yo, that means the world to me.
Focus on shares and likes and comments, yes. But before focusing on that, focus on creating value.
Can you just get started without equipment?
You need 2 things, a good quality audio and a good quality video.
Don't be scared to make a change. If you build this box and you say, hey, I have to be in this box at all the times, like I would feel trapped. For me, I gotta have empty land. And for me, at least, it's gotta always be making me happy first, because I can't make anybody else happy if I'm not happy, right? What's up, everybody, and welcome to your favorite podcast, MotorCast. Allow me to introduce to you the man, the myth, the legend, Homer Lopez.
What's up, everyone?
What's up, everybody? Thank you so much for tuning in. Homer, how you feeling today, my guy?
I'm doing fantastic. Super great to be recording, creating more content, growing more. MotorCast, the little baby.
My little baby MotorCast.
How are you, bro? How do you feel? How 2024 is treating you so far?
You know what?
We're not gonna say what date is today, so that you can, you should know what date is today.
How about you guess it? If you're watching this episode and you can guess what day it is today, I'll cash after you $100.
Okay, he's gonna do it.
Homer is gonna do it. Send your information to Homer.
Okay, so how's 2024 for you?
Man,
How's it treating?
2024 is super blessed, bro. I feel like there is abundance all around me. I feel like there's opportunity all around me. I feel like there's so many things to be happy about, so many situations to be happy about. I feel like there's a lot of really awesome people in my life. There's nothing negative I could say about 2024. What about you?
I mean, for me, 2024 is helping me learn a lot of things and accomplish a lot of goals. I mean, I love it, to be honest. I just made it a goal, and that 2024 is my year. It's gonna be mine. It's mine.
Yeah.
So that's how I feel. So in previous episodes, we discussed about how's the life of creating a podcast. How do you feel? So, and we promised that we were gonna talk a little bit deeper on this topic. So let's just start talking about how do you feel after 20 freaking episodes, bro? Can you imagine that?
I mean, you know what? First of all, it's even crazy to me that I'm on a podcast, hosting a podcast that's about to talk about the life of a podcast, because just like generally, even though like I'm pretty outgoing, generally like this is not my forte, right? And so like this is crazy that we won't have so many episodes in the bank, but number two, that like I even have any information on the subject. You know what I mean? I feel like it's got its challenges. It's really helped me tap into like my creative side. Like generally like the part of my brain that goes is the other side. I don't know what the other side is, but it's not the creative side, right? Like and it's really helped me tap into it, and it just has me like thinking more about people around me, and like one of my passions, like you guys know, is I want to help people, I want to change lives, and I feel like this is like my medium that I can use to do that on a way higher scale.
For me, MotorCast, we were discussing the other day that normally, or not normally, on average, when people start a podcast, they don't go after that episode number 10. That's the average. But again, don't take me for granted on the number, but just knowing that we are doing something that honestly, there is some days that we don't want to come.
Yeah.
That we don't wanna record, but we're telling stories about how are we conquering something that we don't wanna do?
You know what? And like for me, like I'll even go as far as to say that I won't even say it's not a day that I don't want to record. It's just like a day that like everything but I would say recording is my favorite part. Like when
Right.
we're actually like everything is rolling and I start talking to you, it's good. It's fun and it's a great time. It's the prep work to get to the recording. That's like the hard part for me, and like just to like commit to it. Like I'm very like I'm a procrastinator like by nature. And like for me to like, let me give you an example. Like, I always book my flights way, way, way late, and I always pay so much more because, like, the thought of making a date not negotiable is crazy to me. What if I don't feel like doing it that day? What if I feel like I don't want to go no more, right? So, like, it's like to dedicate a day to MotorCast to have it like, okay, we're going to arrive at this time. This is the game. Like, that's so not me by nature. It's that's the tough part,
Right.
rather than the recording itself, in my opinion.
Yeah, but also, I mean, MotorCast or just creating a podcast in general. What do you think? Because I don't want to make it about us, but how like we in MotorCast we always want to help. Yeah, how can, from your perspective, because you don't understand a lot of the camera side, the audio side, and all that stuff. From your perspective, if someone wants to jump into creating content or or creating a podcast, what do you think people like you that you don't understand that part, how can they jump? Because I have my perspective and I'm gonna jump into it too.
I mean, like first and foremost, jump. Just do it, right? Like that's the first and foremost. When it came to the podcast, when it comes to social media, I'm a consumer and not a creator, right? And like one of the things that's really important to me this year is to be more of a creator and less of a consumer. And like the thought that, you know, if I could be open and honest, the thought was like, yo, what if there's people that are gonna judge me or laugh at me or like I hate being wrong. What if I say something that's not quite right and it's posted up there for everybody to see, right? So like first it would be jump, right? And then second it would be like do it. It's almost like like it got a little bit easier when I started doing the content and the podcast for myself rather than for other people. It seems like when I was doing it for other people, it had to be so perfect, and I want to make sure that I not only touch this person's opinion, but this person's opinion, and I would just kind of get lost in the sauce. And when I just made it more about, not about me, but for me, the podcast is for me, right? Like it's not gonna happen, but just like the what it brings out of me, like it brings out my creative side. It lets me speak. It lets me tell a story, like right, like what it does for me is so much more important than what it may not do for somebody else, right? And like the judgment part, like that part was like really nerve-wracking for me, right? Like and it's just like, yeah, one, it's like the people that are going to judge you for their opinion doesn't matter anyway, and like the amount of positivity that's come from it, like I would have never imagined.
Bro, that's how I feel. That's how I feel because I remember. Obviously, you remember that first episode that I recorded in which I told my story, blah blah, and I just remember, bro, that I was like this, stiff, stiff the
We had
whole
our polos
episode.
on. We had our shirt. I had my shirt tucked in.
Yeah, I remember, and I can relate to that because I just remember that that's the same thing that I was feeling, that I was gonna be judged, that I was gonna start receiving I don't know, people laughing at me or whatever.
Yeah.
But when I posted or when I reshared it to my personal Facebook, the amount of love that I received on that particular post and the consistency of love that I receive in our social media, and I'm not saying that we receive like hundreds of thousands of or tens of likes or whatever, but I just can see that we are creating that community, and at the end of the day, creating a podcast or creating social media is basically that, because you can go viral, you can go viral, and at the end of the day, getting viral, yes, is important. It's gonna help you, but what's gonna happen after 2 months? You probably won't have that sauce anymore.
Yeah.
But when you create a community that it's expecting that every Sunday or every video that we post and whatever, and we start creating that environment around us that we don't even think that we so far we have created already. For me, that's the judgmental part of it. I don't really care anymore. The flexibility that we now have on our podcast, like bro, that specifically with the polos, shirt
Yeah.
tucked in, and now, bro, we just relax.
Yeah.
And what I'm trying to say, everything. One thing in our morning 5 planner, you know that we have the small phrase that Glenn's put. Shout out to Glenn.
Shout out Glenn Lundy.
That small phrase that he puts on every
quote,
day.
yeah.
A quote. So one thing that I remember that I read in those quotes is everything that you invest time on is gonna get better. So if we go back into those first episodes, oh my God, bro, we're so lame.
And not only were we were lame, you were lame. I was not, but I'm just kidding.
I agree.
But like just like the thought of like the why, right? Like in the first episodes, like in the big, or really not even the first episodes, when we first talked about the podcast, like, you know, I told Homer like what the reason was. I wanted more business out of it. And
Right.
then and at that point it was already draining, and we hadn't even done the first episode yet because there was a goal that needed to be hit, and like it was just so tied into that. And even like the viral part, like, would it be awesome? I would throw us a freaking party if we went viral. But like not even the viral part, but just like the few people, right? The quality and not the quantity. Like I'm not personally getting like hundreds of likes or anything like that, but the 5 or 10 people that are showing me love, like, yo, that means the world to me. Like the other day, I had a friend reach out to me that I probably haven't spoke to in like 10 or 15 years. He called me on my cell phone, and he got my cell phone number from one of the podcasts that we recorded. I put my cell in there and not the office line.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's crazy,
That's
right? I
amazing.
haven't talked to him in so long, and he watched an episode long enough to get my cell phone number out of there. Like, just the quality of it is so refreshing.
And not just that. Now that you bring it into that perspective, there's a lot of people out there that is watching and they're not saying anything, but we're still being watched out there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that is just regardless if they love or they don't like the content, they're seeing us.
Yeah.
They're seeing and consuming our content, our story regarding if it's motivation or, because I don't know if our audience notices a little bit, but we are not just talking about cars on 2024. We're sharing different stories now.
Right, like the goal for me, right? I think we might have different goals, but the goal for me through MotorCast, I'm change lives.
Mm-hmm.
And the only way I could do that is talking about the things that I know about. And like one thing that you said was so like what could we recommend to people that are trying to jump in? Like do it for that outcome, right? Like or at least know your outcome. I can't tell anybody else what to do it for, but at least know the outcome that they're expecting out of it, right? And for each person it's going to be different, and I'm not going to sit here and judge somebody for if their outcome that they want is going to be to go viral or get leads or whatever it is, but I really like the result that we've kind of agreed on, and it's just like inspiring.
And that particular thing is, for me, is the most important, is building a community. Build a community. And, don't focus on likes. Don't focus on focus on shares and likes and comments. Yes, but before focusing on that, focus on creating value. Like you were saying, change a life if that's what you want to do through your podcast. And a little bit informative right here. If you want to create content, you have to touch at least one of three things. You gotta entertain, you gotta educate, or you wanna inspire. Whatever is your podcast idea, whatever is your topic or your scenario, whatever you wanna do, touch one of these. But make it clear at the beginning. If I wanna entertain okay, make it clear. And how am I gonna entertain? I'm gonna tell jokes. I'm gonna create this or that.
Tell me a
that's
joke.
Tell you a joke.
Yeah.
What do you know what a cook drives? A Chevrolet.
Oh, very nice. Very nice. That's a dad joke.
A Chevrolet.
A Chevrolet.
So yeah, I'm entertaining right now. So yeah, basically, if you wanna create a podcast or wanna create social media, please think before and touch one of three things. Again, you gotta educate, you gotta inspire, or you gotta entertain. Whatever. If you can hit the three, oh my God, you're a freaking legend.
I was thinking, I was like, I think we can hit all three eventually.
Which one are you? How are you entertaining, Rahim?
All right, so
Okay, that's
you
it.
see,
You see what I'm saying?
I got this clown with me on the show. That's how I'm entertaining.
So go ahead. How are you entertaining?
I mean, I think like I'm probably one of the funniest people to like walk the face of the earth, you know, and I have to really contain myself because like I don't want people just like dying of laughter all of the time. I really want them to be able to like learn, like in some of the other episodes, like, you know, I want them to be able to learn, but like in general, like I was born to be a stand-up comedian.
I imagine.
You know what I mean? So
You look like Kevin Hart.
yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Probably in his side.
You know, and it is
But
what it is.
did you know because obviously I think I never shared this before, but did you know about those three topics, or have you ever realized about those three topics?
I never knew about that until you just shared it, but like as you were sharing it, and I started thinking about the content I consume, and like every single piece of content is gonna fall into one of those, and then like the thing with them though, I also feel like they can be really vague, right? Like when you hear the word educate, for example, it could sound kind of serious, but like it could be educate about whatever,
Mm-hmm.
right? And when you think of inspiration, it sounds kind of serious, like, oh, you have to be motivational and you have to I'm gonna, you know, change the way you wake up every single day. But like inspiring somebody could be as simple as like them pulling out their phone and recording the first episode,
Exactly.
right? And then entertained, right? That one really.
Who's your favorite content creator? If you
Who-
can think it on top of your mind.
I probably can't think of it off the top of my head, but like I'll tell you the type of content I really like. I really like cooking content, like on TikTok.
Cooking? Okay.
Yeah, I really
What's
like.
that? Inspiring, entertaining, or educating?
I think a little bit of entertaining and educating.
You see what I'm saying?
I really like you know, like the vlogs that people do. Like I like the vlogs, like how to see somebody's entire day in 40 seconds. I think that's pretty cool. Like I want to create some vlog content. Like
It's funny because I don't know if I've ever told you this, but I'm very grammatically, and I watch on people how they move their mouth when they are saying something. Like I don't know if you know the difference between B and V.
yeah,
So I just noticed that you said it vlog, so you were talking about a vlog, and not before, like 10 years ago, it was a blog,
yeah,
like a written blog.
yeah.
That's very interesting. So now, if you didn't know about the difference, blog is a video blog or a video, blog,
Video
right?
log.
And the other one is gonna be blog with
It's like
BS in Bravo.
Yeah, and it's like written form,
Mhm.
written medium.
Okay, so yeah, let's keep moving. But I'm very grammatically.
Yeah, I see.
We're trying to be very grammatically correct. That's why my English is very slow. There's a singer in Spanish. He's Puerto Rican.
I want this is what I want you to do, Kenneth. I want you to take how many times he's ever said something about his English and create one whole podcast around
That's
that.
super good.
Stop it. Stop talking about your English.
I'm sorry. Is that my English is not very good looking?
I think it's awesome. I think it's
It's
awesome.
perfect. I know.
It's perfect, bro.
Like me.
I won't go that far, but
So okay, so let's jump into probably. I was expecting someone to ask this question, but what do you need in order to in regards of equipment? What do you need?
you know that's good, bro. Because let me tell everybody something. If it wasn't for Homer, like, we're not out here. Cause I am a little bit of a perfectionist, and like, I don't want to just do. I don't want to. Like, I'm not judging you if anybody else does, but like, I don't want to do a podcast on my phone. But like, and thank goodness I had access to you, and you're in my circle, and you invest in yourself and your equipment. But like, before we get into what kind of equipment we need, can you just get started without equipment?
Yes. On my perspective, you need two things. You need a good quality audio and a good quality video. How are you gonna get a good quality video? With a good quality of light. Or if you have a good camera, you can bring the most out of your camera, but obviously you need to know how to do it, right? Like, and this is very important because, like, going back to the beginning, do you remember how many lights we had? We have a big one and four different bars.
Dude, we spent 3 hours just setting up the lights.
Right.
Yeah.
And it didn't, and we were spending like an hour and a half just to
set up.
Just to set up. But nowadays, obviously because I know how to operate my equipment and all that, I'm not even using lights anymore, right? So what I'm trying to say, the most important thing that you're gonna need is this. If you have a super good quality of video, but you don't have a good audio, no one's gonna want to listen.
And I might even say, like, the audio is, to me, is at least even more important than the video, because, like, at least if you have the audio, you can do different forms and you can throw a picture up, or you can dub it on top of the you know,
Exactly.
you can do a million different things. So, like, for me the audio is probably super important. So, like, what about, like, let's say I don't have a camera, Homer, but, like, I want to start a podcast. Like, what would you say, like, my first 3 steps or first 5 steps would be to get rolling and get my first episode out there?
Okay, first thing that you need to do, again, with your iPhone or Samsung, Android, whatever.
If you got a Samsung, don't start a podcast. It's simple. I'm just kidding.
I totally agree. But if you have your Samsung, yeah, go with your Samsung. So, okay, you need a very decent phone, a very decent camera. Again, a mic. It doesn't have to be the regular podcast setup.
Yeah.
Like, we have more than 20 episodes with this. By the way, this is the best investment that I did on 2023.
I agree. This is the best investment he did in 2023.
Also, the other thing that you need to do if you want to release your podcast, or basically not the third one, but the first one, is gonna be write what's your purpose. What do you wanna do? If you don't figure out what you wanna do, you can move forward after that. What's your podcast gonna do? Entertain, inspire, or educate, right? And go with it. A good or a decent phone and a good audio. Those are the 3 main things. After that, yeah, you can switch it to whatever. You can get a light, you can get different things. You can go outdoors, you can be indoors, you can do interviews. But the first 3 things, figure out what you're doing, get a decent phone or a camera, and a good quality audio. Those are my 3 things. And fourth, I would say just start. You're gonna suck at the beginning.
Yeah.
Your first episode is gonna be terrible. You can go into Mr. Beast's episode, and Mr. Beast's first episode was absolutely a disaster, but he's the biggest right now. You can go into Grant Cardone's, or you can go into Michael Cirillo. You can go into whatever. Peter McKinnon, which is, for me, is one of the best, and probably his first video sucked, but nowadays they are the biggest in the world doing or generating or creating content. So just start. That's the thing that we need to do.
And I don't think, like, through this episode we'll be able to put enough emphasis on just start.
Mhm.
Right? Like, I've been probably wanting to do something like this for so long, and whatever is in your mind, right? Like, maybe the same things that worried me aren't gonna be worrying you, but, like, whatever is in your mind, like, just know it's gonna be cool and it's gonna be fun.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is an awesome time.
Dude, I think that we should share what do we do every day after recording.
Yeah. So
For me, that's the best part, by the way.
So Homer and I, we have a ritual that we've started, and after each recording day, we're gonna go out to eat at Fogo de Chao.
Oh my God, that's why I come. Honestly, that's why I come, because I wanna get Fogo de Chao at least once a month.
Homer's real goal is he wants to make sure Fogo de Chao is like McDonald's to him.
Right. And also we wanna see Ruben, which was
Ruben.
this clip to Ruben. I
Yeah.
don't have his phone number. but
I'm
you
gonna get it. I'm gonna get his phone number today.
So yeah. Also, what else can I say? Just your start, but also in the process you're gonna need consistency. And for me, I made it a goal, and now I know it's your goal. That for 2024, I have a calendar in which I know, my family knows, my wife knows, that if she can count, she won't count with me that day.
Yeah.
The second Sunday of every month, I'm gonna record MotorCast. That's
Dude,
on my
that's too
calendar.
big of a hint. They might figure out which day it is.
So we can cut it. But on a specific day of a month, I'm gonna record. My wife knows that she won't have access that specific day. She won't have me that day because I made it a goal. I made a commitment with me first, then with you, that specific day we're gonna record, and we're gonna record 4, 5, 6 episodes, right? But you gotta be consistent. Everything that you do consistently, first of all, is gonna be improvement,
Yeah.
and then it's gonna be easier to do it. Then it's gonna be a lifestyle, correct?
That's 100% right. I mean, the consistency piece is so important, and like if I could add like a few things that I think you should need, like you could definitely do it solo dolo, but like for me, for people that are like me out there, like you need a partner, right? Like know your strengths and know your weaknesses. I wouldn't be able to do it without a partner. So like maybe figure out like the value that you bring to the table, and then find somebody else that brings other pieces of value to the table that you don't bring to the table, right? I would say put the ego aside, right? To start it, like it's like the good thing is we've made it to the point that we have a hair and makeup person now. Then right before the episode they come do it. No, I'm kidding. But like you don't need to look perfect, right? Like you don't like. It doesn't have to be perfect, and for me that's like an ego thing, right? It doesn't have to be perfect. Put the ego to the side, and it to be done and complete is more important for it to be perfect and not complete, right? I think don't like fake is such a negative word, but like don't be anything but yourself, right? Like the cool thing that I really appreciate about MotorCast is like you get the real version of Homer. You get the real version of me. Like this is how we talk. This is how a few more curse words, but other than that, this is how we talk to each other, right? We're talking about things that like we know about, right? Like it would be weird. Like imagine like we had a podcast talking about like, I don't know, cooking, for example. I don't know nothing about that. Right. I don't know nothing about that, right? Like, and even if I did all the research before all the episodes and I could kind of put it together, just not me, right? And then like I think other than that, like I would say like, and it's easier for me to say because I have you, but like I would say don't get caught in the equipment part, right? Because like for so long I couldn't start it because I was like, I don't want to do it with my phone. I don't have a like. And you don't even know this, but like I ordered so many things to like not necessarily start a podcast, but like to start just being a creator. Like I ordered a selfie stick, I ordered a mic, I ordered so many different things, and I ended up just giving everything away because I never even took it out of the box. So like the equipment is not gonna make the difference, right? Even if you have it, in my opinion, if you don't use it, like nothing is gonna happen.
Exactly.
And to get rolling is way more important.
I totally agree with that. And also, I can relate with what you were saying a little bit ago, that you were saying it's easier to create a podcast than creating content on your own. You know that I create content, my own content on my own, but for me it's so much easier to sit with you and just talk of whatever that create content on my own, because one thing is that I gotta in some way memorize a little script or just memorize the topics or memorize whatever. But when you have the opportunity to be on a podcast, you can say whatever.
Yeah.
And if you edit by your own, or if you have an editor like we have, shout out to Kenneth for the great job that he's doing. Boy. It's so much easier to bring out clips of a long form content,
right?
That than creating small pieces of content.
Absolutely, because like believe it or not, like Homer doesn't. No, I'm just kidding. And we have it's usually an hour long, and we have to shorten it up because we have to cut out all his parts because he doesn't stop talking. So like, absolutely, the creating the clips part.
Do you remember? Do you remember the first time that we created content, which in my opinion was very good, but it was you only standing, and okay, this is the topic, and I was asking a question, and you were just
Yeah,
jumping.
over there. Yeah.
It was very good, but it was more complicated.
And it was like too professional.
Right.
You know, like I had my shirt tucked in. I was like, this is too much. So I like this way better. Let me before I forget, like what about like the one thing that we started with was like, you know, let's say somebody does start and like statistically you said they don't make it past a certain amount of episodes. I think we're blessed the fact that we broke through that barrier, but like me personally, like last night I was, and this is how I know my creative juices were pumping. Like I was trying to plan out the year of content, and I'm not that guy. Like I just never gonna do that. But what do you think is the reason why people might not make it through a barrier? And like maybe what tips would you have for somebody who has started and how to keep going if that's something that they want to do?
Yeah. First of all, as you were saying, have a partner. Obviously, if you create a podcast, you need someone else. So that partner needs to be aligned with what you want to do, because you can partner up with your friend, right?
Well, like I'm thinking like even like the people who do like solo podcasts, right? But like how would you recommend them to like break through the first barrier and then keep going?
Okay, now that you mention it, that you changed a little bit of that question, do it like I did for 2024. Just mark it on your calendar. Okay, this specific day. If you're trying to do it weekly, you can say Mondays are for creating my podcast.
Yeah.
Or Mondays are for scripting, and Tuesdays are for creating, and Wednesdays are for editing.
Right.
Whatever, right? Second, I would think that you need to be, again, consistent. You need to be consistent. You gotta do it even if you don't wanna do it, right? Third of all, and this, remember that podcast I sent to you, the 505 podcast?
Yeah.
They gave a very good tip that they were saying, if you're solo, if you're doing it at your home, and you have the lights and you have the cameras, don't move your things. Leave your equipment like in that particular setup. Don't move it, because going into the hassle of unplugging things, putting things away, blah blah, and
Like,
then put it back.
It was a freaking mess when we did it in the customer lounge. Oh my God.
I didn't want to do it again,
I
right?
never wanted to do it again.
Now imagine when you only live a specific place, at your home, at your bedroom, wherever you are creating your content, and then you just have to record or hit record. It's much easier. So those are my three topics. One, calendarize it, or put it in your calendar. Second of all, be consistent and don't move your stuff. Just leave it.
Yeah.
Just leave it out there. Just leave it on your space, on your selected area, and after that, you're gonna be rolling. But also, even though if you're solo in your podcast, you still, my suggestion will be, you still want to have someone that will hold you accountable. That meaning, let's say you're married, and talk to your wife. Hey, remind me. No matter what, I have to record. Make it obvious. Push me, even though or if it's with a friend, a good friend, he's gonna be pushing you out. He's gonna be forcing you to do it. So it's gonna be breakdown and forth. You need to have someone that will hold you
Accountability
accountable.
partner.
Right. Do you agree on that?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think like so like for me, I think because I'm so different than you, like my few tips are like gonna be a little bit different. Like probably my number one is gonna be the accountability partner, because like it's not even could not, I would not do it without the right partner, right? Like it wouldn't be for me. Like I mean, like, don't get me wrong, dude. My voice sounds awesome. Sound like angels,
I know.
right? I look freaking awesome. Like, would love to keep seeing myself in the camera, but like, is would not be as fun, right? For me, without a partner. Number two, like for me, the why was like really important because like it was really hard for me to invest time and effort and energy into something, and without I need a outcome, right? The outcome can be totally different, but I need a outcome, right? Like something as simple as I eat food to not be hungry. I go to the gym, right, to get fit. I record the podcast because I want to make a difference, right? So the why was super important, and I wasn't able to really get into it until the why was like out there. I would say like number three would be statistically, I imagine people probably stop because they forget why they started. Constantly remind yourself why you start, and then like constantly remind yourself why you start, and like I guess don't be scared to make a change, right? Like because like if you build this box and you say, hey, I have to be in this box at all the times, like maybe this is my subject or this is my audience or whatever, for me at least, like I would feel trapped. Like for me, I gotta have empty land, if that makes sense, and to do whatever, flexibility and like it's gotta, for me at least, it's gotta always be making me happy first, because I can't make anybody else happy if I'm not happy, right? So like I would say, like, know that it's your vision and you can make of it whatever you want, right? And like don't forget that part of it. Don't do it to appease others. I think do it to appease yourself first, and then in turn it'll end up appeasing other people.
Right. Now it's your turn to tell me a joke.
Knock knock.
Who is
Orange.
Orange who?
Aren't you glad to see me?
Knock knock.
Who's there?
No one. Oh shit. No one.
No one who? Oh, I see. I see.
What? How do you call a Ford Fiesta that don't have gas?
Oh, I don't know.
A Ford Siesta.
A Ford yes.
All right, so super good episode. I don't know if you would love to add something else.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's gonna be a ton of questions. I think this is probably something that, like, if people have questions, it'll be more in a one-on-one setting than like just a group setting. So like, if you don't feel comfortable to just comment, like I really would like. It's made me a lot happier doing this podcast and finding a partner to do it with. So like literally, if like, and I'm not a professional by any means.
Right.
By any means, but like this is
I am.
cool. You are,
kidding.
right? You are. He is a professional, right? But and I'm not a professional by any means, but like this is fun, right? And like if you have some questions about it, or how to start is probably the number one, and then two, why to keep going, like, yo, hit us up, right? So you could direct message me on Instagram, _truck_dealer. How can they find you, Homer?
You can find me as Homer Lopez, Homer as Homer Simpson, Lopez and as Jennifer Lopez on Instagram.
And you know what? By next episode, we'll actually have a MotorCast email, so people can just email that email.
That sounds good.
And hit us up directly.
I was gonna say something else, but I forgot.
Probably like Spotify, YouTube, TikTok.
No. It was something different than the outro. Kinda done cut it, bro. I think we should just start leaving stuff.
Yeah, except for the
joke. Yeah,
like Kenneth,
that was
cut
rude,
that shit
bro.
out, right?
I felt offended.
I'm gonna get canceled.
So, what I was the last thing that I was gonna say. Now that we talk about the podcast, in future episodes we're gonna talk about how to create content for social media, how to repurpose content for Instagram, TikTok, YouTube Shorts, and different places.
You know what? Yeah, because that's my favorite part. Like the podcast is super cool, and I love you with all of my heart. If you're watching it all the way through and you're listening it all the way through, but like the amount of value that we bring in the reels, the TikToks, and things like that in the short amount of time, that's the sauce, bro.
So we're gonna talk in future episodes. Once again, you can go into Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and you can find us as MotorvationTrucks. On Spotify, you can listen to us and look for us and you're going to find us as MotorCast. Once again, we highly value having you here.
Thank you.